Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys. I'm on the cusp of 9,000. 9,000 guys. Thank you so much. I put out a video that I was extremely and am extremely proud of, and that is a video about Brianna Michelow and her story about her son Corey Michelow. And I implore you guys to check that out, because that is something that is just so important. Because even though Corey is no longer with us, his story can help other children and help women in crises when it comes to a safe place in the midst of a fucked up custody battle. So on that note, I wanted to say that I watched the Guilty of Crime show with Jay, and she had some screenshots of some text messages, which goes hand in hand with what I wanted to talk about, which something I just cannot stop thinking about. I don't know if I'm thinking about this because Father's Day is coming this month, and my dad passed away June 15th of 2021 from COVID. And I have shared with you guys that my dad was a career criminal till he was about 45. Till he was about 45. So about half his life, and he turned his whole life around. And I don't want to say that he was a strict dad, but his opinion definitely mattered more than anybody else's opinion, and he always thought that he was right. And there were things that I had seen in Christopher Gregor's dad that resonated in me, that I thought, I know what type of dad he is, because those are the worst qualities that I saw in my own dad. And that's how I was able to peg David Gregor. And, unfortunately what happened there, and I totally believe this, and Brianna has said this, that Chris really didn't want to be a dad, but his parents kind of talked him into it. And to me, after hearing her story, what they wanted to do with Corey was change his whole identity into their golden child, what they deemed to be a golden child. And in the meantime, they're raising fucking monsters in that house. And that brings myself to this video. I can't understand for the life of me why Brianna Michelow, and I don't know if she's doing this or not doing this, but if she's not doing this, please look into doing this, Brianna. Suing the hell out of that Gregor family. It's just destroying their name, because they are a stain and a blight on who good people are. This man, David Gregor, had the opportunity to make a world of difference as a former and respectable New Jersey state trooper of 27 years, and somebody that rubs shoulders and elbows and whatever else he rubs with big wigs in Homeland Security as a consultant now that he's retired. He could have changed things. He could have done things. And he didn't. He covered up things. The bad behavior that his kids kept. I'm going to speak about Chris. That his kid kept getting into trouble over and over and over again. And had these issues been addressed properly, Corey Michelow would be alive today. So there's no way that I believe that they didn't have a hand in the unaliving of their grandson. Maybe not directly. I don't believe directly. But in not saying anything and covering things up. Brianna said, I felt like they were there when it happened. Like when Corey's clothing was soiled, when Chris threw that stuff away, So that's accomplished, and that's just assumptions. I mean, she feels that. She feels that. She knows this family better than we do. As she's got a mother's intuition going for her. She's not a stupid woman at all. Nobody could call her that. You know, I made a comment about Chris maybe having book smarts, but he certainly didn't have common sense. You know, Brianna seems to have both. You know, Brianna has common sense, and Brianna seems to be able to read pretty good. You know, she is articulate, and I had Chris. See, let me tell you something. Now, my dad, he didn't go for that shit. If we got in trouble for something, man, and we had to be, you know, I don't mean for this to sound weird or strange, but it was very important we were law-abiding, that we were law-abiding his kids. Listen, I was 16 when my dad got his life together. So, you know, when I was, 12, I got caught shoplifting at Sears or J.C. Penney's, one of those stores. And I remember him picking me up from the store, and I was shocked that he was mad at me because I had already known that he had been in jail and stuff. That didn't fly. Usually good parents want better for you than they've done for themselves. And again, my dad changed his whole life around, and you know, he was a good guy, and he gave back tenfold for whatever he took. I have no doubt about that, you know. But I know how parents want to direct you, and it might not always be in the best direction. And I feel like Chris Gregor just wasn't strong enough to tell his parents, listen, I don't want the kid. So, you know, be grandparents and I'll just come over here and do this. He didn't have that in him. He didn't have the strength to, or the kahunas to stand up to his parents. Again, you know, I'm reflecting on things that Brianna said, and she said how they wanted to, like, give him the Gregor name, like the Gregor name meant something. And the truth of the matter is, I don't understand how people could not look in the mirror and see who they really are. Do they not recognize? I mean, it might all look good on the outside, but inside, are you really convincing each other that everything is fucking great? I don't understand that. But because things weren't shared and children weren't being held accountable for things when they should have been held accountable, a monster, at least one, came out of this. A man who seems to have terrorized women, have no respect for them, and obviously none for his son. His behavior didn't start 2 weeks before Corey died. And now Chris has been charged with aggravated manslaughter. So there's guilty right there. There's guilty right there. That behavior didn't start 2 weeks before. This has been a continuing behavior that was never addressed. Why aren't the parents responsible for that? I want to see that happen. I hope that that's a law. Because you see, they're doing that, the Ethan Crumbley, right? Those parents are in prison now because they could have stopped that. Why is this any different? Especially, he was a cop. He was a friggin' cop, that dad. He supposedly knew the difference between right and wrong. He would have arrested other people for that behavior. So come on. Come on, man. Who do I write to about this? Guys, tell me what you think. Tell me, don't you think that, one, Brianna should sue that family if she's not already suing that family? And two, shouldn't that be like a law? Like, seriously? Shouldn't they be held accountable for what they raised and reared into this world and knew he was a danger? Guys, tell me what you think. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Please like, subscribe, and share. A lot of you guys watch my videos and you don't subscribe. It doesn't cost anything if you hit the button. And we don't make you stay. We're not a cult. Guys, coffee, tea, tofu. I was drinking some sort of... it was pretty good, too. It had watermelon and kiwi. It was good. All right, guys. Be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Tell me what you think in the comments about what I said about the Gregors. You know, when I say that, I think Frankensteinish. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget, check out Justice for Corey on Facebook. That's Brianna's page. Check that out. It's a very interesting page. And show some support, guys. That's what it's about. Thanks.